Hey everybody, Lieutenant Joe here for the Blue Heart Podcast. You know, I wanted to take a minute to talk about some of our brother and sisters who have fallen. We don't always think about that part of the job. I know when you're new, we do. You know, you strap on a gun for the first time and you're going on patrol and you're going out doing your job. You don't really think about how things could happen, could go wrong, but you think about them, right? We train and we practice and we're in the academy. We're trying to figure out how to survive out on the street. It becomes part of who we are. You know, when you're out there, you're stopping cars, you're paying attention, you're trying to not fall into a trap and get yourself hurt, answering a call. We want to live, and it's a real tangible thing to us. But as time goes by, we know we get not complacent, but we certainly don't think about it as much. And we see that can come back to bite us sometimes. Other times it's unexpected. But the world we live in now, law enforcement now, with ambush, people that will ambush you as a law enforcement officer, that happened in the past, but it was very, very rare. Now you can be ambushed at any time for any reason. Defund the police. People don't like us. They have all kinds of stories and lies about us. They don't understand the sacrifice we all make every single day. And in recent weeks, we've seen just an outpouring of blue line support for one of our own who was taken down in the prime of his life, the beginning of his career, Officer Jonathan Diller from the NYPD. Excuse me. You know, it's not the first time in the course of my life that I have seen an officer cut down way before their lifespan should have ended. Officer Diller represents all of us. Here's a man simply doing his job, trying to better his community, serve the public, protect and serve the public. And he is cut down by a coward, by a career criminal who should not have been out on the street. You know, today we're fighting, we're fighting political forces that don't like us, that are against us, that see law enforcement as the problem. When the tale has now been told, Officer Diller's murder is an absolute connection to these foolish and misplaced ideas about defunding the police. Police are bad. Police are the problem. None of that is true. And when a young man like Jonathan Diller, who has a wife and a child and a life ahead of him, is cut down senselessly, makes us all stop and think about the job we do and how important it is. The rise in crime across this nation is not something that was unpredictable. It is not a black swan event where we couldn't have predicted it. There was no indications that it was going to happen. It was clear it was going to happen. When you cut back on law enforcement, when you defund the police, when you badmouth the police, when you make the police the enemy of society, you're going to see criminals respond. They're going to respond by committing more crime. It is out of control in many of our cities. The public suffers every single day. And then one of our own, Officer Diller, loses his life needlessly, senselessly, leaving behind a wonderful young woman and his little boy. And I want to remember them here. And I want to remember all the fallen officers, the men and women who offer their very essence, everything about them, on the altar of freedom for our brother and sister Americans. It's a terrible loss. And here at the Blue Heart Podcast, we feel that pain like all of you do. I had to say I was very proud, though, when I saw the lineup of all the officers that came from around the country to stand shoulder to shoulder with Officer Diller and with all of the men and women of the Blue Line. Your life matters. You are important. Without you, society will crumble. We've seen that in the past couple of years. The case has been made, and the book should be closed. We should fund our law enforcement departments. We should train our officers. Society should respect every single member of the Blue Line, because without the members of the Blue Line, this society will crumble and disappear from our memory. So God bless Officer Diller and all the men and women who have fallen in the past, and sadly, who will fall in the future. Be careful out there. Do your jobs. Ours is a noble profession. Society cannot survive without us. I am proud of all of you, and I'm happy to be here to talk about our world here on the Blue Heart Podcast. God bless.